dense smoke advisory was triggered for parts of Central California and Nevada after an out-of-control wildfire spread in the Sierra National Forest. Look at the smoke rising from that area. Firefighters still trying to control the Garnet fire. Aerial footage here showing that smoke billowing high into the skies. This is over Fresno County. Let's check in with AccuWeather meteorologist Alex DeSilva to see if the weather there is helping or hurting the situation with those fires. Alex.
Yeah, well, right now we're dealing with a big dip in the jet stream. Now, the good news is that's going to bring some relief. So some relief from the heat that we've been dealing with here over the last couple of weeks where we've just seen record-breaking temperatures across portions of the West. That'll bring some relief, but the problem is when we see these dips in the jet stream, usually that brings a lot of wind, and so we're highlighting this big area in orange as well as portions of Southern California as well, all the way up into Nevada and portions of Colorado as well, for a high risk of potential fire growth. These winds will really pick up. You usually look on the eastern sides of these dips in the jet stream. Winds from the south can really fan those flames. And the other reason we're concerned is because these areas are in a big drought right now. Look at how widespread the drought is. Basically, everywhere from the Rockies on west is in some sort of drought right now. So when you combine that with extreme winds, that's how you can get that rapid fire growth that we're so concerned about.
So, Alex, moving to other parts of the country, what's happening this week in the Northeast and the Atlantic?
Yeah, well, the Atlantic Basin right now looks pretty quiet. Today is actually the statistical peak of the hurricane season. You can see that right here, September 10th. We've reached the top of the hurricane season, at least in terms of statistics. Now we're going to be going down the other side, but I do worry that the second half of the hurricane season could be more active than the first half. We just got news yesterday. It was breaking news yesterday that we have officially gotten the warmest or the highest ocean heat content ever recorded in the Gulf right now. And what ocean heat content is it's essentially the depth of the warm water, essentially how much energy is in the ocean. And so this graph shows where we are compared to average. The average is this blue line way down here, and we are way up here. We've officially surpassed 2024 levels, meaning that there's so much energy in the Gulf right now that if we see anything at all, try to get into the Gulf later on this year, I really worry that it's going to rapidly intensify. We saw that last year with Milton and Helene.
So as the waters grow warmer, it just helps fuel these storms.
Yeah, indeed it does. And rapid intensification is very closely tied to water temperatures and ocean heat content. So usually the higher the ocean temperatures and the higher the ocean heat content, again, how much energy is in that body of water, usually leads to a much, much greater chance of rapid intensification. We take a look at the sea surface temperatures compared to average right now, and take a look at the Gulf here. Everybody in the Gulf is above average in terms of sea surface temperatures, as well as across most of the Atlantic basin here. So if anything, again, reaches this area and there's favorable environmental conditions, I really do worry that it could rapidly intensify. We saw that with Helene, like I mentioned, and Milton, even later into the hurricane season. Milton was in October, so we have to watch things all the way to the end of the hurricane season.
That graphic, that map looks terrifying, Alex. What kind of temperatures are we talking about when you circle that huge area? How hot is the water?
Yeah, well, typically we look for about 80 degrees Fahrenheit for tropical development. In this area here in the Gulf, we have temperatures that are around 90 degrees in some areas, upper 80s to around 90 degrees. So you're talking about temperatures that are about 8 to maybe up to 10 degrees above the threshold needed for tropical development. And in terms of averages, we are running about 2 to 3 degrees above where we should be this time of the year.
Wow, that's a warm dip in the water, 90 degrees. Alex DeSilva, thanks so much for doing that. We appreciate the graphics you bring. It really drives home what's happening and how the temperatures are rising.